Across the globe, certain creatures disappear from view and are declared extinct, yet occasional encounters suggest they may still roam our planet. Scientists call these enigmatic survivors Lazarus species. Join us as we explore 10 remarkable cases, from hidden marshes to ancient forests, misty skies and winding rivers, where hope persists that nature's lost marvels may yet live on. Meet the pink-headed duck, a diving bird that once glided across India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Myanmar. Scientists last caught a clear glimpse of it in the 1940s. Since then, no one has made a certain sighting. Yet fishermen in northern Myanmar's hidden swamps still whisper about a pale pink head poking above the reeds. This duck had a soft gray body, rose-tinted wings, and bright pink eyes. It dipped beneath the water to feed on plants, small fish, and insects hidden under mud. In the 1800s, hunters shot many for their striking feathers. At the same time, people drained marshes and cut tall reeds for farms. By the mid-20th century, its numbers had crashed. Bird groups now listed as critically endangered, possibly extinct. Teams have scoured old nesting grounds in India and Bangladesh without success. But few surveys have ventured deep into Myanmar's remote swamps, where dirt tracks end and water channels twist beyond maps. Local guides point to secret pools where the duck may still dip its bill at dawn. Researchers study old museum skins to learn their life cycle. Those specimens show it nests in winter, laying up to 6 camouflage eggs among thick reeds. Black and white photos from the 1930s faintly show small flocks at sunrise along muddy banks. Every time someone hears a soft whistle or spots a pale head on the horizon, hope sparks again. New tools, drones that hover low over water and audio recorders that pick up distant calls, may finally solve the mystery. If even one pink-headed duck survives, it could lead us to save an entire lost world of fragile wetlands. The thylacine, or Tasmanian tiger, was a striped marsupial that hunted small animals in Australia's forests. Its scientific name is Thylacinus cynocephalus. With dog-like features, a stiff tail, and dark stripes across its back, it filled the role of a top predator. Europeans found it only on Tasmania by the early 1800s, after it vanished from the mainland. In September 1936, the last known thylacine, a lone female, died in Hobart Zoo. Since then, over 200 reports of striped shapes at dusk have come from Tasmania and even New Guinea. None produced solid proof. Still, trackers follow muddy trails marked by 5-toed footprints, different from any fox or feral dog, and set camera traps under moonlight. At night, some hear its slow bark cough, yip yap yip, echoing through redwood gullies. Others claim a flash of stripes slipping between tree trunks. Teams use heat-sensing drones and night vision scopes to scan river valleys and mossy gullies. Early sheep farmers blamed thylacines for livestock losses and paid bounties, killing thousands. Today, only bones and pelts sit in town museums, reminders of what we lost. Researchers study old skulls to learn their bite and hunting style. They trace how its pack behavior and weight helped it chase wallabies. A few labs even explore genetic recovery, mapping key genes from century-old samples. Educators and storytellers share thylacine stories in schools and galleries to remind young people of extinct species. Conservationists say its story warns us that habitats and hunters' attitudes shape survival. The thylacine's legend endures in art, music, and film. Despite legal protection since 1936, none have appeared. Yet each new track or faint call drives small groups back into the bush. If just one thylacine survives in Tasmania's secret forest pockets, it would change our ideas of loss and give hope to other creatures on the brink. The Ivorybuild woodpecker was once the largest woodpecker in North America, a bird of deep swamp forests. Its black body and massive white wing patches made it a living banner against cypress trees. When it hammered bark for beetle larvae, its ivory white bill flashed like a dagger. By the 1940s, hunting and logging had driven it to the edge of extinction. For decades, experts assumed it was gone. Then, in 2004, a team in Arkansas braved alligator-filled swamps and filmed brief clips, a large black bird with white wing flashes flying over water. They also recorded distant double knocks, 2 rapid taps used for tapping out territory. That spark led teams back each year. Some claim to see white flashes deep in Tupelo swamps. Others detect faint Kent calls, a soft nasal toot through fog. Yet no clear photograph has ever met the strict test of proof, and debate swirls over whether any survive in vast, roadless bottomlands. Logging roads, oil rigs, and floods have changed much of its old range from the Carolinas to Louisiana. A small Cuban form vanished decades ago. In 2021, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service planned to declare it extinct along with 22 other species. The new video from Louisiana delayed that move. In 2023, an Alabama birder shared grainy footage he took in 2020 showing a soaring woodpecker. Each new hint sends birders back into the swamp, gear in hand. They set up quiet hides, use audio lures, and study bark chips for fresh feeding signs. If even one Ivorybuild woodpecker still lives, it would stand as proof that nature can surprise us, and that lost giants may yet endure in silence. The night parrot is one of Australia's most mysterious birds. Its name is Pesoporus occidentalis. With green-spotted feathers and dark flecks, it hides in spinifex grass by day. No one saw it from 1912 until ornithologist Shane Parker spotted a flock in 1979. By the 1980s, it seemed to vanish again. Then, in 2013, a remote camera in Queensland caught its single image, a blur of green in a grass clump. That photo, plus calls and feathers, confirmed that tiny groups still lived. Today, the IUCN lists it as critically endangered, with perhaps fewer than 250 mature birds. Its world is the arid spinifex flats of western Queensland and the remote deserts of Western Australia. At dawn and dusk, it slips from grass hummocks to pick up grass seeds. Its low croak sounds like a soft whistle across red sand. In 2005, 3 were sighted near Fortescue Marsh in WA. A dead female tangled in fence wires proved that night parrots survived into the 2000s. Then, in 2015, ornithologist Steve Murphy and partner Rachel Barr captured one in a mist net, nicknamed it Pedro, and fitted it with a tiny radio tag before setting it free. Conservation teams now protect key water points and monitor fire patterns to keep spinifex healthy. At night, audio recorders on poles pick up their soft whistles, guiding researchers to new sites. Some early photo and audio claims were later retracted after expert review. For 11 million years, the Oceanian Rock Rat lived only in the fossil record. Then, in 1996, a live specimen appeared for sale in a market in Khammouan, Laos. Scientists named it Leonastes enigmamus in 2005. Locals call it Kanyu, or rock rat. This odd creature looks like a large, dark rat with a furry tail like a squirrel's. Its skull is thick, with big cheekbones and strong teeth. The front feet dig around under limestone rocks for leaves, seeds, and shoots. Adults weigh about 350 grams and measure 25 to 30 centimeters from nose to rump. Leonastes lives only in a few patches of karst forest in Laos and just across the border in Vietnam. Limestone boulders, caves, and scrubby hillsides are its home. It moves slowly, mostly at night. Villagers know it well, trapping it for food and calling it part of their forests. Researchers first thought it was a brand new family of rodents, so rare that no living relative existed. Soon after, paleontologists found that it belonged to Diatomyidae, a family thought extinct for 11 million years. That Lazarus twist makes it a living link to long-lost mammals. The IUCN lists the Laotian rock rat as least concern, but calls it very rare. Hunting for meat and forest loss still threaten it. Teams survey its rocky hills with skull traps and local guides. DNA studies check for hidden groups in nearby karst areas. Studying this rat squirrel helps scientists learn how life can hide for ages and then reappear. By protecting its limestone home, we save not just one odd rodent, but a whole world of plants and animals that share its secret caves. The Somali Sangi, a tiny elephant shrew, vanished from science after 1968. No one saw it in Somalia for over 50 years. Then, in 2020, researchers found live Sangis in Djibouti. They snapped photos and even caught it to check its health. With its long nose, big eyes, and floppy ears, this dog-sized mammal darts over rocky ground hunting insects. It lives in arid scrubland with scattered bushes and stones. Despite its name, it stays close to the ground, darting from one rock crevice to the next. Originally called Elephantilus revoili, DNA showed it was not an elephant shrew at all, but a unique branch. Scientists gave it the new genus Galagaiska, meaning Horn of Africa Sengi. This tiny shrew split off from its closest relatives millions of years ago, making it a living heir to ancient lineages. No records existed after 1968, so the IUCN listed it as data deficient. The 2020 rediscovery in Djibouti, with camera photos and a live trapped individual, changed everything. Field teams set up unbaited traps and motion-activated cameras. They found Sengis feeding on ants and beetles in the daytime heat. Local trackers heard rustling on rocky slopes at dawn in 2021 and logged GPS points. They estimate hundreds of Sengis scattered across hidden hill outcrops. Conservation groups train rangers to check camera feeds. Heat maps now guide patrols to ideal feeding sites. Now listed as least concern, the Somali Sangi still faces risks. Its rocky home lies near roads and grazing areas. Conservationists work with local people to map its range and protect key hillsides from overgrazing and fire. The Somali Sangi's return shows how deserts can hide rare life. Each sighting adds a puzzle piece to its story. By guarding its stony world, we keep this living fossil dancing across Africa's dry lands. Once the apex carnivore of Unguja Island, the Zanzibar leopard was hunted out by the 1990s. Locals blamed it for livestock losses and saw it as a tool of witchcraft. By the mid-1990s, biologists deemed it extinct. Only 6 museum skins remain. Described in 1932 as a unique subspecies, this leopard adapted to island life. It was smaller than mainland leopards, and its spots often broke into partial rosettes. Adventures of leopard keepers, villagers who claimed to own these cats, wove into local myth. Farmers believed witches sent leopards at night to punish wrongdoers. Efforts to protect it in the 1990s stalled when surveys turned up no tracks or scat. Yet, islanders kept reporting sightings deep in the Jazani forest and along rocky hills. In 2018, a camera trap set by the TV series Extinct or Alive recorded a shadowy cat moving at dusk. The footage shows leopard-like stripes, but experts want DNA proof from hair or scat before calling it a survivor. Genetic studies group the Zanzibar leopard with African leopards, not a distinct island species. That means any leopard on Zanzibar could be a feral mainland cat. To confirm real island survivors, teams need fresh samples. Villagers sometimes guide trackers to domesticated leopards, hoping to show off these rare cats. None have held up to close study. Field teams now place environmental DNA samplers in waterholes and search for leopard traces. Acoustic recorders pick up calls at dawn. A new village outreach program teaches children to draw leopard tracks, instilling pride. Funds support ranger patrols. Now, conservationists debate whether to launch a DNA survey or focus on educating locals to report clear evidence. Saving the leopard, if it lives, means balancing respect for local beliefs, protecting forest habitat, and using modern tools like genetic snare cups and infrared cameras. The Chinese paddlefish, once the giant of the Yangtze River, grew over 3 meters long. With a long, narrow paddle snout and a white underside, it roamed coastal estuaries and upriver to spawn. People caught it as early as the Ming Dynasty. By the 1970s, annual catches reached 25 tons. In 1983, China banned fishing it, yet small numbers survived into the 1990s. The last confirmed live sighting came in 2003 when a radio-tagged female glided in Sichuan. Its tag stopped working after 12 hours. By 2005, fishermen saw none. Surveys from 2006 to 2008 used nets and hydroacoustic gear but found only 2 possible sonar echoes. In 2019, scientists pooled survey data and declared it functionally extinct by about 1993 and fully extinct by 2005 to 2010. The IUCN finally listed it as extinct in July 2022. Its loss marks one of the first extinctions of a large freshwater fish in modern times. Fishermen still tell of strange echoes in deep pools and nets that barely miss a huge white fishtail. Hydroacoustic recordings once snapped back odd blips, but none turned into nets full of paddlefish. Dams like Gajuba, 1981, and 3 gorges blocked their long ocean-to-river migration. Overfishing of young and old, and habitat loss sealed its fate. Researchers now study old specimens in museums to map their genetics and life history. DNA from frozen tissue reveals low diversity, a sign it was in decline before surveys. Lessons from its fall guide efforts to save other Yangtze giants, finless porpoises and big sturgeons. Fish ecologists examine fin and gill structures of older specimens to understand its feeding needs. River engineers study migration paths to design fish-friendly passages and dams. Environmental groups share its story in schools, using art and river cleanups to raise awareness. The paddlefish stands as a warning and inspiration. The Baiji, or Yangtze River dolphin, was once called the goddess of the Yangtze. Pale blue on top and white underneath, it glided through China's Great River for millions of years. By the 1950s, more than 6,000 baiji swam its waters. Rapid industrial growth, heavy boat traffic, electric fishing, and dam building drove them to the brink. Late surveys found only a few hundred by the 1980s and 13 in 1997. Chiki, the last confirmed baiji, died in captivity in 2002. In 2006, a 6-week expedition covered hundreds of miles without a single sighting. Scientists declared the species functionally extinct, too few to breed. In 2022, the IUCN listed it as extinct, yet fishermen still whisper of white shapes in murky pools. In August 2007, a grainy video from Anhui province showed a large, pale animal. In 2016, another shaky clip surfaced online. Both sparks of hope fizzled under expert scrutiny, but they keep the baiji's memory alive. The baiji now stands as a river ghost symbol. Its loss marks the first known extinction of a freshwater megafauna mammal directly caused by humans. Conservationists urge preserving Yangtze habitats for the finless porpoise that remains and for all river life. The baiji teaches us that once a river's giants vanish, it takes more than time to bring them back. Today, museums and aquariums display baiji skulls and bones to remind visitors of its fate. A small research team preserves frozen tissue samples in biobanks, hoping to study its genome and learn how to revive its traits. Chinese scientists have planted new river reserves, banning electric fishing and limiting ship speeds to protect other animals. International groups now map the Yangtze water quality and share data with local communities. School programs teach children the baiji's story and inspire new river guardians. Memorial events honor its loss. The Javan Tiger, Panthera tigris sondaica, once prowled Java's dense rainforests, riverside grasslands, and volcanic slopes in search of deer and wild boar. It was the smallest of the Asian island tigers, but still a fierce predator, with powerful shoulders, a long tail, and dark stripes that blended into shaded foliage. By the mid-1900s, Java's forests were cleared for rice fields and settlements, and tigers were shot for bounties and trophies. As human activity spread, their numbers plunged. The last confirmed Javan tiger sightings came in the early 1970s during official park surveys. In 1979, authorities declared the subspecies extinct. Yet deep in West Java's mountain reserves, local villagers still whisper about glowing amber eyes between bamboo stands and soft, distant roars at dusk. Those stories keep hope alive. In the 1980s and 1990s, a handful of conservationists set up camera traps near Mount Halamun and Meru Batiri National Park. Some frames captured a large, striped silhouette slipping behind ferns. Tracks discovered in mud showed 5-toed paw prints matching a big cat pattern, but no clear photo or genetic sample ever followed. Today, small teams led by Indonesian and international groups still patrol those hills. They deploy silent camera nets, heat-sensitive drones, and audio recorders for low-frequency roars. When villagers present fresh paw prints or share detailed accounts of livestock taken by a cat with powerful jaws, field biologists return to scout for scat or hair samples. Saving the Javan tiger, if remnant tigers remain, means protecting isolated forest patches and reconnecting them with green corridors. Working with local communities to limit poaching and develop ecotourism also helps. Should one ghost slip through Java's hidden valleys, it would rewrite our ideas of extinction and give hope to other endangered species on brink. Each story shows that nature can surprise us. Lost species may yet swim, fly, or scurry back from the edges of extinction. But these Lazarus stories also warn that wild places need care if we want those miracles. As rivers choke, forests shrink, and deserts heat up, holding on to hope means acting now. So we leave you with a question to carry into the wild. Which extinct creature will reappear next?